happening, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Austin, and thanks for tuning in for episode number 2 of the DevvE Roundup, where Davin and I, we sit here and we say things and we hope we don't let secrets slip out. And that's the type of episode you want to see. Davin, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Well, yeah, good. Busy end of the week, and very much looking forward to a cold beer and a little bit of a break. But yeah, it's relentless at the moment. It's really good, and I think kind of just alluding to the fact that we hope that things don't slip out. Like when I'm tired and when I'm exhausted like this, there's more than a fair chance that I'll probably say something I regret. So don't push me too hard.
We should make these later in the day. All right. So let's start on that note. If I were to ask you what is the coolest thing that happened this week, whether you could talk about it or not, maybe you can intimate, maybe we can dance around it.
Yeah, well, so probably 3 very cool things happened this week. So like we said last time, a lot of the stuff we do is just part of an ongoing process, right? And, it's great when you get things to the end of that process. So we had some really positive feedback from some of the state level partners that we're working with, trying to sort of position various entry points for how we are kind of engaging. Really, really good to see that kind of moving forward. And again, very, very close. We had just an amazing meeting with one of our partners around the exchange, and the outcomes of that, I guess we'll see next week. But in the meantime, I think I said to Ray actually after the meeting, that was one of the best meetings. I pretty much didn't have to say anything in the meeting, which is amazing and rare. But it was just this beautiful combination of the right people in the right place with the right kind of ideas and concepts, and the alignment was amazing. So that was really positive. Again, I think we are going to see a lot of positive movement on that side very, very soon. But yeah, I mean, another week, another chapter in pushing things forward. So again, lots of good stuff. But those were some big standouts.
So Davin and I had a call scheduled during that exchange partner meeting, and he wrote me back. He said, look, I'm not going to make our appointment, but without giving too much, he said, this call would blow your mind. And I went, take your time, do whatever you got to do. So along those lines, maybe a little pivot here, but could I ask you how many state level partners we are in conversations with? Like, is that something we can dance to?
Yeah, no, I think that's probably fair to. So we're in active conversations with 3 state level partners at the moment. We are. Each of them are different. There are lots of overlaps. We're very close with 2. Again, it's just about kind of the terms of engagement and and how we approach what we're doing. But yeah, I would say we have introductions on the table and opportunities with many more. But lots of that again centers around things like the S2 business, which we've discussed. And domiciling some of our other key pieces of infrastructure and kind of collaborations on those sides. So yeah, look, again, we are having some exciting conversations, not just with state level partners, but with huge businesses and enterprise level partners as well. And while those conversations are, part of an ongoing negotiation and in some cases very, very close to conclusion, it's about chickens and eggs, right? You can't count them until they've hatched. So I know that's kind of exciting to hear, but the proof is actually in the delivery of these pieces. And again, on that side, just we are making progress every day. We are making progress every week. We are getting very close on a number of fronts to being able to deliver core pieces of infrastructure. And again, I know you caught up with Tom recently and did a tech talk on the S2 business. And again, if you haven't watched that, guys, you really should. We are very, very lucky to have someone like Tom kind of leading, on the technology side and what he's doing and what they've done, how they've kind of predicted or foreseen, these opportunities and positioned us so well to be able to take advantage of, what we're doing right now. And, the S2 side is, again, incredibly exciting. I think he also mentioned, obviously, the wallet and, payment rails pieces. you talked about identity and other things. All of these are, bread and butter applications where there can be huge cost savings, huge, resource and time savings, but efficiency increases, improvements. But on the trickle down level, it's not just about businesses, right? What we're doing while we're engaging with, big partners and states and large companies, it's the trickle down benefits. So it's all the things that people want to get involved in crypto for or blockchain for, whether that's about convenience, payment, peer-to-peer, whatever it is, any of these pieces, all of that becomes enabled seamlessly. And this is the real value. So whether you're into all of those kind of typical crypto kind of, DeFi elements, or whether you're into, this longer term vision of a better, more transparent, more secure, world, that's the sort of levels that we're pitching at. So, it's an upside for everyone.
I want to kick back real quickly to the state level partners, because I know this is a question people are going to ask. So you mentioned that we're at the terms of engagement for 2, basically right at the end of negotiating, right? Just kind of getting back and forth. What is this actually going to look like in practice? Once that's inked, or once the terms have been, hashed out, is that something that we're going to announce right away? Is it something that the countries are going to announce? Is it a joint press release? Any ideas?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Again, we're working through those pieces at the moment. And I would say it's probably going to be a combination of the above. So these are multi-phase, and again, anyone that's worked with any kind of large entity will understand that, the integration, the rollout, the different phases of activity are all going to take place over, a wide area and a wide amount of, time. These are multi-year engagements and kind of ongoing long-term partnerships. So there are going to be key pieces and takeaways that will obviously benefit the governments and or, their sort of constituencies and others that will, definitely result in, announcements and press releases and things like that. From our point of view, we want to make sure that what we're doing, and this kind of goes back to everything that we've done, throughout the entire process and throughout the inception of the business, we're not really about that kind of hype first, which I know is a bit disappointing, but we want to make sure that all of these things are in place and embedded. Now, that's not saying we're going to wait 6 months or a year to make any of these announcements and things, but what we would like to do is make sure that we can say, and here is the proof, here is the deliverables. These are the things that are now generating active benefits across the whole spectrum of our business and benefiting our community, benefiting the groups and or communities that are, recipients of the technology and solutions. But more widely, this is the type of thing that you can expect to see at scale. And so once we have those things in place, I would be very surprised if it wasn't a regular kind of piece of comms and updates, because again, you start at a base layer of, an integration at an infrastructure level, and then it's about problem solving. And there are so many problems that we can solve, and there are so many problems that these partners are interested in, that we will begin that deployment phase rollout, and that involves, local stakeholder engagement, educational pieces, jobs and opportunities. There's a raft of other additional benefits, and each one of those is important and newsworthy and valuable. So I think I can't confidently say that we're going to immediately rush out and sort of there'll be champagne corks popped, but I can say that it will be part of a larger piece of communications. It will also include things like the exchange, because this, again, is a critical infrastructure piece that folds in around all of this as well.
So I have to go back to the exchange mentioning there. Wow, English. I do speak it. All right. So I want to ask you, so how big is the DevvE team at present, would you say? Like, how many people work at DevvE?
So I would say we are fairly lean. We've got, off the top of my head, probably about 12 direct employees and a range of contractors. Outside of that, there would be, I would say, probably 3 or 4 indirect teams that are working on various elements of the business. So all in all, with direct and indirect resources, probably around the 30-ish mark.
Yeah, I was going to kind of shoot in that direction, although I don't know everyone. But so my question is, we start going to these countries, and obviously, like we talked about last week, you go in for one thing, and then 6 new lateral businesses tend to show up. I mean, do you expect that we're going to go through like a rapid expansion here in the near future? Because just from listening to you, it sounds like that's going to be a necessity.
So yeah, there's a lot of ops planning going on at the moment. That's part of my kind of one of my happy chores, I guess. So the answer is yes, but not, I would say, not unplanned rapid expansion. These are things that we've been factoring in. Obviously, we understand that there's going to be requirements that are not met with the existing resources and teams and people that we have. Things like customer service is going to be a massive one. So again, dealing with any of the kind of issues, tickets, inputs, feedback, all of that sort of stuff, we'll need to make sure that we have resource available for that. From a technical point of view and from a build out of and a supporting of each of these partners, because and again, anyone that watched the S2 talk or the tech talk with Tom, there is kind of a nuance to what we're doing. I think he described it as the difference between an Excel spreadsheet and an SQL database. What we are doing is very much on the SQL side, but again, there's a lot of existing infrastructure pieces that need to be plugged in. So, we're not saying to a partner or a government, for example, let's replace everything that you've got, right? You're going to be using our system now, and we're going to build out proprietary, applications to sort and support, all of these different pieces. I mean, obviously that's an end goal. That's amazing. But what we will do is say, right, well, these are critical pieces of, technology, software, infrastructure that you have. Let's build all of those to connect, or let's connect to all of those in a way that makes it better, more efficient, etc. And so we need the resources to architect that, to plan that, to support with that. And that's going to be something that Nick's going to be handling and looking at. Again, we have, product and application development demands around our core services that we are scaling up as well. So yeah, I would say that we will see an expansion, and there'll be probably a lot more on the partnership side as well, because again, with these products, we already have like plans and roadmaps to integrate and deploy with existing infrastructure partners. And, these partners could be telcos, they could be ISPs, they could be, any of those types of service providers that have both customers and requirements in the areas that we support. And we would then effectively providing them with a tool set and another revenue stream opportunity to, again, services, support, and deploy. So yeah, there's lots of that.
Lovely. Okay. So back to the exchange piece here. So obviously, a while back, some stuff was teased about some partnerships and things like that. And of course, trickled out, and everyone, I got, I think 3 or 4 DMs this week from individuals from our UK brethren, our friends over in the UK chat, just going blink twice if this is correct. And I'm never going to blink. I do blink, but not for that reason. But I wanted to ask, what do these partners actually bring to the exchange? Like, how are they adding to what's being built? Or can you touch on any of that without, dropping the secret sauce?
So I think it's kind of important to understand, and this may sound kind of, basic, and I'm not, again, trying to mansplain this to anyone out there that, has kind of thoughts or feelings around, exchanges. But what we know of in the crypto space as an exchange is not an exchange. It's a brokerage, right? It doesn't matter how you kind of frame it. They create an exchange experience by allowing users the illusion of the fact that they are trading an asset with another user or with a pool that is then supported. But in reality, what they're doing is they're holding all of those assets. In most cases, there are a number of different ways they do it, but generally it's an omnibus wallet. And they're brokers that, they provide a very comprehensive brokerage experience that imitates and mirrors an exchange. But an exchange is typically a process that's made up of 3 parts. And again, without kind of overly explaining this, what we do and the problems that we've solved with our technology revolves around that settlement layer and the post-trade, right? We provide all of the transparency, validation, security, and throughput that enables the exchange once you've gone through all of the compliance, all of the matching, all of the critical pieces that happen in front of that. What our partner brings to the table and what our partners bring to the table is all of that experience, all of the capabilities to deliver those things at a global and enterprise scale. And again, I'm tired, it's late, and you're getting me to say far more than I probably should, but they can bring more than just capability and expertise. They can add a lot of value to how we are approaching and redefining the exchange paradigm. And what we will have at the end of the day is probably something that's unique in the world on both sides. So it's going to be unique in the crypto space, but it's also going to be unique in what you would call the TradFi or traditional exchange space. The capabilities that we can enable on both sides is just mind-blowing and exciting. And that's part of why the call that we mentioned was just incredibly exciting. So, unlocking those ideas and opportunities, looking at, outside of the real world asset trend, looking at, as we've said before, anything that can be exchanged as a value digitally or representative of value digitally can be traded and exchanged. And the experience can be as customized, tailored, or unique as it needs to be for any of the individuals. And that could be just as, it could be an energy exchange, it could be an FTX exchange, it could be you literally paying your bills with your service providers, at a basic level, or it could be a far more complicated multiple asset trading. There is really no limit to how customized and personal that experience can be, or how configured it could be for whatever reason or purpose you wanted to use that.
Man, and I am just going to take advantage of your tiredness here for a second, and feel free to next week bring a beer with you. This could be the weekly drink, Friday drink.
That'll make it worse.
So good. So in crypto, there's a large spectrum of what a partnership could be, called. There's, on the one end, we're using Google Cloud, so we're partnering with Google, but they've never heard of you. And on the other end, we're being bought out by this company. So like, where do we fall on the spectrum of what these partners actually are to us?
Yeah, I'd say, and again, the shape and flavor of it is part of what we're negotiating at the moment. I can't really kind of say too much, but if the spectrum that you've described is kind of using their services versus being a critical partner at the end that you're looking to acquire, I'd say we're around the 6 or 7. So we are mutually adding in unlocking value. We are there is a potential. Again, I can't. And this is very close to me saying stuff that I really shouldn't be saying. Yeah, it's a far more in-depth partnership than you would typically experience. I think I have to kind of cut myself off there, otherwise I will literally say something that may affect ongoing.
It sounds very intimate. When I hear that, I think, oh, we've met the kids, we've met the parents, we're definitely past the third date.
We are definitely past the third date. Yeah.
So, and you know what happens on the third date. All right. So we are 18 and a half minutes in. I'm going to have to call it because it's our weekly roundup, not our weekly drag it on for an hour. Anything you want to conclude with, Davin?
I just want to say, again, thank you. Thank the ambassadors. Thank the community. All of you guys are amazing. And we will do our best to continue the pace at which we're kind of moving things forward. We know that you want comms. We know you want updates. Again, we will do our best to make sure that those are meaningful and not just, vaporish. We've got some very interesting meetings next week. We're talking to our developer team around, and again, this is at early stages, so this is not me making any promises, but we're looking at some bespoke software that's been developed around the carbon exchange markets. We're looking at opportunities on that side as well. So yeah, again, lots of exciting stuff happening. Apologies for being vague on some things, and just appreciate all of everybody's input. And that's it. I'm going to say too much.
If it looked like I was squinting the whole time, it's not just because of my eyes, because I keep smiling when I know what Davin's talking about. Although I don't know all the stuff he's talking about, but some of it is just, I'm very excited for all of us. All right. Thanks, guys. My name's Austin. Thank you for tuning in. With me every week is Davin. We're going to drop these episodes every Tuesday at noon Eastern, 5 p.m. UK time for my UK brethren. Like and subscribe. We love you guys. Catch you next week. Bye-bye.